Welcome, everybody. We're back for the Smackdown review for April 4th, 2017. Jim, what's going on?
Same old shit, different smell every day.
And just to let everybody know, we're recording at the Dungeon in Brooklyn, New York for Pain Train Pipe Bomb. It's usually my lead-in, but I kind of fucked it up anyway.
That's okay. We're still not giving any ideas as to where the dungeon is located, so tough shit on you guys.
It's in Brooklyn, and that's all you need to know.
That's right.
So now we are here, SmackDown. It's the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Hopefully they cover up what they did on Raw.
Let's hope.
Because at this point right now, I'm not exactly sure what the fuck they were planning on doing.
Right.
So the opening segment is Randy Orton, the 13-time world champion, doing a promo about his match with Bray Wyatt, like it's not over yet.
Right.
They have Wyatt show up on the Titantron with his promo by saying that he wants to have a rematch with Randy Orton, because it's in his clause.
That's right.
They want to have a House of Horrors match.
What exactly is a House of Horrors match? I never heard of that.
From my understanding, they've never had a House of Horrors match. So I can only imagine what kind of sick and twisted shit is going to be in this match.
Sounds exciting, doesn't it?
It does in a way, but I hope they just don't boot it. If they do something kind of retarded, or they do a throwback match from, let's say, the WCW days, then, yeah, it probably won't work out well.
Speaking of WCW, I'm sorry to, stray off the topic here, but do you, in your, quick opinion, think that WWE has what it takes to resurrect War Games?
I don't know. War Games would be it would be awesome if they kind of resurrected it.
Right.
However, the chemistry and the characters, so to speak, would be the things that you'd have to really think about.
I still think that would be awesome.
And the only roster I would think that would actually have that type of talent would be the Raw brand, because SmackDown's brand is just way too small.
Yeah, unfortunately it is, but it is what it is.
And it also marked the return, by the way, of Eric Rowan wearing a sick-ass sheep mask with a gas mask intertwined into it.
It was so awesome. I love that shit. And
they actually jumped Orton from behind.
Yeah.
Which then prompted a former member of the Wyatt family to come out, in Luke Harper, to even the odds, and then Rowan and Wyatt retreat for the temporary time being, because they've just now made that the main event.
I thought the first second that I saw Luke Harper coming out, I said, oh my God, he's going to turn on Orton, and the trifecta of the Wyatt family is going to be reunited.
I have a feeling that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah. But
it's only going to end up happening if, and this is with this whole superstar shakeup bullshit that they end up doing.
Yeah.
Is if they end up somehow recreating or building another faction on SmackDown. We alluded to it before with AJ staying and maybe Gallows and Anderson coming over to SmackDown to reform the club.
I hope so.
And hopefully turn them face, because then that would make SmackDown a little bit better on that.
Imagine, though. Oh.
It's difficult to have that fact, but it's a pipe dream that we wish kind of would happen, because AJ with Gallows and Anderson was just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we revisit to what Alexa Bliss calls a SmackDown Women's Championship match on SmackDown, obviously Tuesday, against Naomi. Now, in my opinion...
Okay.
And my opinion, whether regardless people like it or not, they can go fuck themselves. Really
True.
Don't care. And this is where I think WWE starts to go a little bit down the hill with their storylines.
Okay.
It's not really a return match. It's not like a, I have another championship match for my title, the former champion.
Yeah.
Because if that were the case, then the other 4 divas or women that were in the match at WrestleMania would have been in this match on SmackDown.
You would think, right?
So a title return match, it's not really a title return match. It's more of a title match for Bliss's title, former champion. In this match, though, and it kind of showed at Mania, and we didn't really highlight this part, but Naomi's knee is still hurt.
You could tell. She's favoring it.
It's almost the female reincarnation of Rollins on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny, because she should have been healed with the time that she was gone.
She was gone for a while, so she definitely should have been healed by now.
It was only 3.5 weeks. And and if it wasn't as serious as they say it was, then she shouldn't be gimping around right now. And I think this is where they're grasping for straws
Yeah.
to try to make ends meet on SmackDown. I mean, it's the better show between the two. Let's not bullshit around a tree here. It's the better show between the two.
Yes, it is.
It's an hour shorter, and it's a little bit more action-packed, the land of opportunity type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to have Naomi limping around like this, first off, I wouldn't have had her defend her title 2 days after Mania. That's just a little obscene.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And if you know she's gimping around, you don't want to kill her again off and then have that title up in abeyance. Sorry. It just doesn't make me feel any better.
Yeah, but vacant title tournaments are always fun.
It is, but when you only have a division of 7 women in the entire division,
this is true.
You really can't have that much of a tournament.
Right. You could do the entire tournament on one episode of SmackDown.
Well, that is exactly true. Or do like a King of the Ring style tournament, like at a pay-per-view or something, where the women actually can take the show over. Women's Revolution, which I think would be pretty awesome.
That would definitely be pretty awesome.
Naomi wins this match.
Yeah.
Okay? And again, it does show that the knee is still fucked up. Because whatever move she was trying to do, you could see that there wasn't the power there.
No, she was completely favoring the knee the entire match. You knew she was still jacked.
It was Naomi about 65%, I would have to say.
I'd say so.
I'm not underestimating it because she's a woman or anything, but...
No, nothing like that.
So, again, another change in roster talent. Kurt Hawkins somehow decides he's doing this open challenge crap.
Ugh.
Open challenges in WWE never turn out to be what anybody really expects them to be.
No.
Because it just leaves a doorway open for somebody new to show up.
Right?
Ty Dillinger, the perfect 10 from NXT, answers the call and gets a huge pop from the fans.
Figured that.
He's one of the popular ones in NXT.
Right.
And you kind of really didn't see it coming, although a lot of the rumor mills did.
Yeah.
However, how much they're really going to push Dillinger, I'm not exactly sure. Because he didn't win a lot of matches, but he also didn't lose a lot of matches in NXT.
Right.
And had that ongoing feud with Sanity in NXT, which is Eric Young, Killian Dane, Nikki Cross, and some other idiot who I don't remember seeing because I'm not a huge NXT guy.
Nah, me neither.
It ended up being that Dillinger wins this match with his tiebreaker, is what they call it.
Right.
And then a perfect 10 move that they have listed as one of his other finishing moves.
Yeah.
So now it's Dillinger is one of the new guys on SmackDown.
Yeah. Wait, who did you say was the guy who issued the challenge and then Dillinger came out?
Kurt Hawkins.
Why is he even still around collecting a paycheck?
Because he took a vacation from WWE, went to the Indies, supposedly, and if you could see the size of the quotation marks that I'm putting up, they're about like 2 feet long. He supposedly made his character better in the Indies.
Yeah.
I've seen the posters. I've not seen any of his matches. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think they were going to reunite Kurt Hawkins with Zack Ryder. Back to the days when they were the fake edges.
That shit was great.
The former the fake rated R superstars. Where they all looked like Edge at some point.
Yeah, now they're just fake superstars.
But at the same rate, he's probably going to be there to just put over the younger talent.
Could be.
I mean, it's a springboard. Again, I mean, if you had Mojo Rawley win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, then I think at some point Ty Dillinger is going to have somewhat of a good career in WWE. How well they push him and the storylines is just another story.
Yeah, that's true.
So, we come up to a really, really weird segment.
Okay.
And it's one of those segments that it really makes you think.
Yes, it does.
Now, just out of curiosity, how do you feel after you've lost a match at WrestleMania, normally?
Normally, you would feel bummed out because, I mean, if it was me losing at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's not Roadblock or Money in the Bank for that matter. It's WrestleMania. I'd feel bummed out.
Yeah, it's the ultimate thrill ride of the year, supposedly, which was their caption phrase for the WrestleMania.
Which was really awesome because of how the stage setup for Mania looked like with the roller coaster tracks. I thought that was fucking
It was
awesome.
great, except for that long-ass 100-yard fucking motocross ramp that they fucking put up that everybody got tired of running down, and then when they got to the ring, they were out of breath.
That would definitely explain why Undertaker needed to come in halfway.
And it's funny that we come up to this segment.
Yeah.
Because the opponents of these two superstars that are doing this segment actually had this tag put on them for the WrestleMania pay-per-view.
It's the turd of the week.
Miz and Maurice received the SmackDown Turd of the Week this week.
Congratulations, you two.
Only for the fact being that they are still mocking Cena and Bella.
Yeah.
Even though they lost.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania. They're saying that they're sending them off. They're giving their A performance send off because Cena and Bella were leaving after WrestleMania to not return until probably like November.
Really?
Yeah, there's some big part-time bullshit line now that Cena's not going to be around. He's got movies and whatever the fuck else he's doing. And then, he's going to try to knock up Nikki so she just takes a break and, they'll be off screen for a while. But they both dressed up like Cena and Bella. And they're still doing a bullshit promo mocking them. And this is the reason why they have achieved the SmackDown Turd of the Week. Unbelievable.
Right?
You lose and you still mock the people that you lost to.
Sounds like sour grapes to me.
It's almost like poking that bear that you woke up the weeks prior and that you're still not done poking it because you want your ass kicked.
Right?
And obviously that's the way it's going to end up being if they end up poking the bear and Bella and Cena fucking come back and show their ugly faces again. Fucking unreal.
Right?
See, these are the things where, like, I get pissed off because you don't poke the bear.
Nope, not at all.
I don't like being poked. Why would fucking Cena and Nikki Bella want to be poked?
I don't know.
In some weird fashion, maybe they would be poked, but no, sorry. So then the It couple finished their promo. And this is a call-up that I think should have been happening a long time ago.
Oh, yes.
I don't think it should have waited the 2 years that it ended up being. But a violinist shows up on the SmackDown stage and starts playing Nakamura's theme, which then they have Nakamura come out.
Yeah.
And Miz and Maurice are still standing in the ring like a bunch of fucking morons. Again, they are the reigning SmackDown Turds of the Week.
Yes.
So it ends up being that, like, they bring Nakamura in, and they don't have him really talk. They don't have him, like, shoot off on Miz, because I think that might be, like, the new storyline that they're going with Nakamura. They really should have just brought him in and, like, smacked Miz around a little bit, and, maybe done that move to Maurice, and, like, they really should have done better than that.
Yeah.
But they just brought him in, and they really didn't just do anything with him during the show.
Right.
There was a bullshit dark match that they had later on. I don't remember where I read it. It was, I think, WrestlingScoops.com.
Oh, yeah.
Where they had a match. It was like a very quick 5-minute match with Nakamura in the dark match. Because apparently they filmed 205 Live right after SmackDown.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Oh.
So that was their way of keeping the butts in the seats, that they somehow off air did not mention to everybody they were having a dark match with Nakamura.
Yeah.
But that was his deal.
So you mean, like, if someone goes to a SmackDown Live event and when SmackDown is over, it's basically like, don't go anywhere, 205 Live is up next?
Yeah, it's like they used to do with the Raw SmackDown Super Shows back in the day.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Like, they used to do the 2-hour SmackDown at, like, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you'd be sitting there waiting for 8 o'clock to come for Raw to go on the air.
Yeah.
And usually you were out of there by, like, 10:30.
Yeah.
Because I know I went to a few of them at the Garden, and that's MSG, by the way, and not monosodium glutamate or whatever the fuck that is. Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
It's also like when, back in the day when you did a SmackDown show, when you went to a SmackDown show, they had superstars before.
Or Sunday Night Heat.
Sunday Night Heat, yeah, back in the day.
They used to pre-tape the Sunday Night Heat, and then they'd air it the few days after.
That shit was awesome. Sunday Night Heat was great.
You usually got 2 shows for the price that you paid for the tickets.
Right?
So
they made it worth it for the fans.
Yes.
Oh, wow, Sunday Night Heat, dude, that's going way back. Attitude Era. Right
it's
there.
scary that I actually remember that.
Right?
I've been on YouTube on the channel that we broadcast on, or we post on, really, and we do ask our subscribers and listeners to build us up. We want to make this a bigger and better show.
Right.
That they've actually been showing like highlights of Sunday Night Heat.
It seems that way, right? It's getting that nostalgic feeling.
And it's kind of crazy though, because like it was weird. They only had like really one good match on there. They had a shitload of jobbers going against main eventers and mid carders.
Yep.
And wasn't the Sunday Night Heat the halftime show at the Super Bowl that one year?
Yeah, when they had the empty arena match between Mankind and The Rock.
Yes, and the 5-pound bag of popcorn. Feel
You
bad for
saw
that poor
that
bag.
shit?
Feel bad for that bag. I swear.
Right? The popcorn bag gets an honorable mention for something.
That was a lot of wasted popcorn. I'm
Was
sorry.
it?
That was a lot of wasted popcorn. I mean, if I had at least a fucking suitcase of beer, I probably would have finished off the whole bag.
You probably would have.
Probably.
I know how you like your popcorn.
Yes. So now we go into what I would see as part of the co-main event for SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it ended up coming to this point, but they have Baron Corbin versus Dean Ambrose in a street fight.
Yeah.
But it's not a title match. It's a non-title match. And I understand that it's a street fight. They do it on SmackDown. It's done for ratings.
Of course.
However, this should have been the match that they had at WrestleMania. Not a fucking plain out boring regular match for the title.
On the pre-show.
Well, not only was it on the pre-show because Ambrose was drunk at the Hall of Fame inductions,
Yeah.
but at the same right, you still have that fresh memory of, like, let's say the forklift and all of the other things, like the pipe that Corbin used on Ambrose during that whole backstage melee.
Yeah.
And again, this is where I believe that WWE just has everything fucking ass backwards. That they should have not had the street fight on SmackDown. It should have been on WrestleMania, regardless of whether it was the pre-show or not at this point. Because you really can't change it because Ambrose was drunk 2 days prior.
Right.
So they really should have had the street fight on at WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
I agree.
SmackDown, I know you're doing it for regular on-air, shave that, on-air ratings, but at the same time, it's the biggest show of the year. Your street fight should have been there. And I did mention that prior to the WrestleMania review.
Yeah, you did.
So they have this lovely little street fight, and Baron Corbin ends up winning this match.
It was a great match, though.
He hit him with the end of days like nobody's business and just laid Ambrose out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was nuts.
Maybe, I think this is almost to the point where it's like they're doing with Jericho, with Ambrose, that they're going to string out this rivalry until everybody gets tired of it, or we all end up taking cigarette breaks during these matches, because that's usually what ends up happening.
Yeah.
And maybe they just might stretch this out a little bit longer and just have totally different style matches.
Yeah, but it's about time they're starting to do that again. I mean, with dragging out a rivalry.
But it's not even the dragging out of the rivalry thing. I think it's to the extent that they're starting to somewhat come out of the PG era.
Yeah.
By throwing some of these matches on regular TV instead of having them on their pay-per-view shows or their mainstream shows.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they did have these Halloween fights, and then they have the Christmas street fights.
Oh, yeah.
And I just hope that and pray that they don't go back to the pillow fights, because those were horrible.
Yeah.
But they're starting to break out of it where they're not keeping everything clean on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not seeing the blood, but you're still seeing the action of a chair, an action of a table, a kendo stick, and long live the kendo stick, because that's back to the ECW days, big time.
Absolutely.
But at the same rate, like, I think that's where they're starting to head to again.
Like you said, they don't. WWE is not like airing their clean-cut image as much as they used to.
And I think that's where they have to go. They really just can't stray away from that.
They have to. I mean, like you said, we can do without the blood. We've done without seeing blood in matches unless they actually do get cut. But
Or bounced off the fucking ring post.
well, that's who. But I mean, I'm not hating the fact that they're bringing back brutality in matches.
I don't know if it's the brutality. I think it's just the action. Like, it's got to be a little bit more up-paced. You know, it has to have a little bit more, like, it's one of my favorite words, panache, to like build up the the crowd a little bit more. Because
Yeah.
if you do that and you have all stale matches the entire show, people are not going to go. They're going to watch it on TV, obviously, because they don't want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But if you have the same old shit all the time, and it's very dull and boring, nobody's going to get your buys.
Like every week, it would be standard matches, standard matches, standard matches. But like you said earlier, Raw, SmackDown, nowadays they're doing street fight matches. They're doing false count anywhere matches. I think that's great for ratings. It's great for the fans. It's just great all around.
But the thing is that both shows have to do it. If
Yes.
both shows don't do it, and only one does it, obviously you know where the money's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
The ratings are going to go there, and that's what SmackDown's doing. This is why SmackDown kills Raw in the ratings almost every week.
And they're making sure that they do it.
Now, I'm going to skip this one segment,
Okay.
and I'm going to go to the main event of SmackDown, which is the Randy Orton, Luke Harper versus Wyatt and Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
Now, this match here did show some viciousness to it.
Oh, yeah.
Between the four of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
These guys know how to make an uproar in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that they didn't try to throw a little bit more of Wyatt's gimmick in from WrestleMania, which kind of was a downer to the match.
Yeah, a little bit.
However, it ended up being the outcome of the match was Orton and Harper defeating Wyatt and Eric Rowan. And pretty much Wyatt threw Eric Rowan to the wolves, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because he did his disappear gimmick, ended up on the ramp, and then Rowan got the finishing maneuvers from Harper and Orton, which is the RKO.
Yeah.
And that was the match. And then you see at the end of the match, Wyatt laying on the ramp laughing, and Orton's just sitting there like,
Huh?
what the fuck? Like, are you that big of a bitch that you just fucking decided to not get RKO'd again? You know? Like, that's the way I see it.
I think it's ridiculous that WWE is already. I mean, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that they're doing this, but to me, it seems like they're already burying Bray Wyatt because you take the strap off of him right away, and then that's it.
I did actually second think from the recording that we did Monday.
Yeah.
This is 3 days later. I've had 72 hours to think about how this whole thing could possibly transcribe into something bigger.
Yeah.
If, in fact, this House of Horrors match that Wyatt is promoting, if this ends up being the kind of sick match that it could possibly be,
we can hope.
Wyatt gets the title back.
I hope so.
And it's almost like you're giving Orton that last month's reign to send him out the door.
Give him one last run. That's what they're doing.
It's his last championship run, and they'll eventually have Wyatt back the title holder, and he'll end up rebuilding the Wyatt family again.
I hope so.
By some creepy fashion, I think that's what's going to end up happening.
It sounds legit.
So if it ends up being that way, I am calling it here first before any of the other guys in the wrestling community. Sean's View, Heel Steven, shout out to you because you're like pretty awesome and I've learned a lot from you already.
Mm-hmm.
That if this ends up happening, this could be like the uproar that Wyatt needs to get that boost. Maybe the title reign wasn't like sufficient enough to him that he could handle it off the top. So he kind of needed like a breather to restructure his having the title and then going on a decent run with it.
Yeah. Plus the title just suits him.
It does, and it gives him the power that he needs to be the name. But it's to be continued. I really want to know what this House of Horrors match is because it's got me a little curious.
One other comment I got to make on WWE dropping the ball, and since we're talking about Bray Wyatt, for the longest time, you know it, I know it, we've both been saying it to each other, that WWE should have introduced a Sister Abigail character, but they fucked up because this whole thing with Orton burning the compound and then Abigail's body being buried underneath it and then it got reduced to ashes, they fucked up. They should have introduced an Abigail character.
Well, technically, it doesn't leave that door closed.
Really?
The rumors, again, these are rumors, and it's a very big possibility of how they really wanted to do things.
Yeah.
They were mentioning that they could do a Rise from the Dead with Sister Abigail. Even with the burnt ashes and the steak into the ashes that Orton put on there 2 weeks ago or last week or whenever the fuck it was. It's not really great memory that I'm going to remember this. I'd rather remember like 1987 and shit like that. But there were mentions of characters that they were going to do that with.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think what happened is that the contract negotiations for the said people to do Sister Abigail didn't really work out. So it still may be a storyline coming.
Yeah.
But that also might happen in that House of Horrors match.
Ooh.
You never know.
Well, who's the possibilities to portray the character?
One mention was a rumor that I heard. It was Shelly Martinez, who used to play Ariel.
With Kevin Thorne.
That was one of them.
I love her.
Nikki Cross, who's now Insanity, they might switch up her character a little bit and bring her up as Sister Abigail. I mean, those were the two names that I heard. Again, rumors. We don't spread rumors on the show. We only profess them from what we hear.
Yeah, we just tell the rumors. We're not spreading them.
So this House of Horrors match has got me curious, and I can only imagine what's going to go on. But I definitely wanted to leave this as the last segment for the show.
Okay.
Shane McMahon is out in the ring cutting his promo.
Yeah.
The after WrestleMania promo. You know how he usually is good with that, even though he's lost.
Yeah.
He always shoots that good promo afterward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to start about this shaking up of the superstars between Raw and SmackDown. Now, in the midst of this whole promo that he's saying this, AJ Styles comes out.
Yeah.
With a huge shiner underneath his left eye. And that's from the garbage can.
Yep.
So he says, in quote, that he doesn't want to leave SmackDown. It's the house that AJ built, which in a way, I have to say, with AJ being on SmackDown, was a very, very huge boost to the show.
It was.
Because as much as I am not a tremendous fan of the fucking pretty boy John Cena, and everybody watches the show a lot because he's on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I give him that credit. He does bring ratings.
Uh-huh.
However, AJ's been there the entire time since the draft.
Yeah, that's true.
The WWE champion till the Royal Rumble, which is a good month, good 6 to 7 months reign from SummerSlam to the Rumble.
Yeah.
That he did bring in the ratings. He went against a lot of guys. He went against Cena a few times. He went against Ambrose a few times. He did have that chunk of great matches with, obviously, his mic work is still insane.
Yeah. Great matches with, these top of the line superstars, these established superstars.
And the other great point to this, and again, we all threw the AJ Shane match under the bus before WrestleMania came out.
Yeah, guilty.
And I did kind of think that because it was a regular match, Shane really had no chance.
Right?
But I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was wrong on that aspect.
Oh, Shane wowed me.
But AJ ends up giving Shane the ultimate respect during this segment.
Yeah.
And it goes to show the work that a lot of the guys put in every week to make the show better, to make the matches better, regardless of whether it's on regular programming or on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And we don't always see that, but AJ gave Shane the ultimate props for that match and said that it was not something he totally expected. He thought it was going to be, like we said, pretty much a throwaway because he was going to kick Shane's ass.
Yeah.
And Shane pretty much fucking threw AJ a beating.
It was such a great match. I was wowed by it. But
and we can revisit that match every day till the next WrestleMania comes out.
Yeah.
But at the same right, it actually showed there's a actual camaraderie between the two, which is actually good. Maybe AJ actually does stay on SmackDown, and maybe they add to him as this shakeup comes around next week.
Now, do you think with Styles coming out and throwing Shane the respect that he deserved for the Mania match and shaking his hand, the whole 9 yards, would you consider that an AJ face turn?
To honestly tell you, it's a tear every week with him. You try to push him as a heel, and he ends up becoming the face. Everybody cheers him every time he comes out.
Yeah.
And you saw he went against the faces. He went against Cena. He went against Ambrose.
Yeah.
And those are two top faces, and AJ got fucking cheered through the fucking roof with that.
Because he's AJ Styles. He's fucking loved all around the world, literally. I mean, ROH, was he ever in ROH?
AJ? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so ROH, TNA, or Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE. He was all over the world, and he was loved everywhere he went. Except that one run in TNA, he was one of those hated men on the roster.
Yeah, but he was also Fortune 4 back in the day.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he's one of the TNA originals, so why do you not, he's going to have a heel turn every once in a while.
Yeah.
But sometimes he just does play the better face, and he played the face when he left TNA to begin with. And went to New Japan.
There's just some heels that you can't hate. I mean, look at, maybe not recently, but Kevin Owens, when he, I guess you could say, turned heel in the WWE, he was still getting a pop in the crowd every time his frumpy ass came out.
He still gets it now. So notice where the comparisons are.
Yeah.
So we've officially gone over the SmackDown review. Do you have any final comments about what we can say about this lovely show?
I think that SmackDown was definitely another wow episode. It was really well scheduled, well put. Nakamura coming. It's about time. I give SmackDown a 7.
I give it the 8. And I give it the 8 rating because they do have, Dillinger up now, which is great. It's not the big names of what NXT is. But my downfall to the 8 is the fact that Nakamura did not say anything. Nakamura did not perform any maneuvers, especially if you have him bleeding into that fucking sad turn of the week moment between Miz and Maurice. I mean, that's the only downfall I really see to the episode. However, it got the props again. It's still a better show than Raw, and that was even with the call-ups. They actually had 2 call-ups for the show. It wasn't one call-up and a returning superstar for the show.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just getting the higher rating.
Fair enough.
So, on that note, Jim, say goodbye to the listeners.
Bye, fuckers.
And we'll catch you all on the flip side.